So I'm going to sort out my boards and figure out what I'm going to use for the front and the sides of my blanket chest. They're going to be the biggest pieces. So I always select like drawer faces or the panels in a raised panel door. I'll select that material first because those are the big real estate areas. So I want to make sure I take advantage of the wide stock then I'll figure out all the small parts afterwards. So now I'm going to lay out the front and the sides of my blanket chest. They're going to be the pieces that are most visible and eat up most of the boards in the project. So I've got two sides that are 18 inches long and the front that's 44. I'll typically add 2 to 3 inches to each one of those lengths to make sure that I get enough to cut the panel square and true it up. I've also laid out my stock so that I have the narrow grain running on the edge of each board and the cathedral open grain in the middle of each board so that the grain direction matches pretty close. It'll end up looking more natural than having real abrupt grain changes. So I'll find any grain that I like, and I don't like what's going on here, so maybe I'll use my piece of chalk. Yep. And we'll come down I've got a knot here, so I'll shift that down. And here you'll see I'll need to find another board to use here, but it won't be that difficult to match. What this will allow is, for the most part, for the grain to wrap around the front and both ends of the chest, and that'll make the piece look really nice.
Use a circular saw to break the boards down to rough lengths, cutting along the chalk marks. You don't have to be exact. All the ends will get squared up once the panel is glued together. This is why I marked each piece a couple of inches long. Keep the pieces organized as you cut them. In just a minute, I'll show you how I mark them to keep things straight.
Now I've got 9 different pieces of lumber here I need to kind of wrangle. It's like herding cats. So I just put the part letter on each one. I'm not worried about up and down yet. I just want to make sure that I know, for example, this will be the side, which is part B, and I'll put a 1, 2, 3, and a line and a line. So I'll know how these parts are going to go back together so that I can keep this board in line with this board as we work around our project. I'll continue that for the rest of the material.